Supreme War Leader HFY stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Crimson Devastator, watching the blue-green world rotate peacefully before his invasion fleet. Intelligence reports had been clear. This planet, designated ThereHFY by their scouts, harbored a primitive species that had barely achieved nuclear fission, perfect for the Krell hegemony's expansion needs. Target assessment complete. War Leader reported his tactical officer, HFY, mandibles clicking with anticipation. Primitive chemical rockets, basic metallurgy, fragmented political systems. Resistance will be minimal. HFY's 4 eyes gleamed with satisfaction. The Krell had conquered 47 worlds using the same strategy: identify developing civilizations, strike before they could mount meaningful resistance, harvest their resources, and subjugate the survivors for labor. It was efficient, profitable, and the Krell had perfected it over 3 centuries. Begin Standard Conquest Protocol, HFY commanded. Atmospheric bombardment of major population centers, followed by ground deployment. We'll have this world pacified within 3 rotation cycles. The first wave of plasma bombardment struck major population centers across Earth simultaneously. New York, London, Tokyo, Moscow, 12 cities, vanished in balls of superheated gas designed to break the enemy's will to resist. The Krell fleet waited for the inevitable surrender transmissions. Instead, they received something unprecedented. War Leader HFY said, confusion evident in his voice. We're receiving multiple communications from the planet's surface. They're not surrender offers. On the main screen, a stern-faced human in military uniform appeared. Behind him, the ruins of what had been Washington, D.C. still smoldered, but his voice was steady and cold. This is General Patricia Hawkins, Acting Commander of Earth Defense Forces. Your unprovoked attack on our civilian populations has been noted and recorded. We formally declare a state of war between Earth and whatever species you represent. We suggest you prepare for consequences. HFY's mandibles clacked in amusement. Consequences? They've lost 12 major cities, and they're threatening us? Transmit our standard ultimatum. The human general listened to the Krell demands for unconditional surrender with an expression that HFY would later learn to recognize as dangerous calm. When the message ended, General Hawkins smiled, a facial expression that looked disturbingly predatory. War Leader, you've made 3 critical errors, she said. First, you assumed that losing cities would break our spirit. You've clearly never studied human history. Second, you attack civilians first, which means you've just united every human on this planet against you. Third, and most importantly, you've given us permission to stop holding back. Holding back? HFY scoffed. What could a primitive species possibly be holding back? His answer came 18 minutes later. The first indication something was wrong was when the Crimson Devastator's shields began fluctuating. Then HFY's sensors started screaming warnings. War Leader. Massive energy signature detected planet-side. Wait. Multiple signatures. Sir, they're launching something. What emerged from Earth's atmosphere wasn't the crude chemical rockets the Krell had expected. Instead, dozens of sleek vessels powered by fusion drives accelerated at impossible rates, their hulls gleaming with electromagnetic barriers that deflected the Krell's defensive fire. How are they achieving those acceleration rates? HFY demanded, watching the tactical display in disbelief. Our intelligence indicated they had barely achieved orbital capability. General Hawkins's voice crackled over the comm again. Did you really think we'd show you our best equipment during peacetime? Every major nation on Earth has been preparing for potential extraterrestrial contact for decades. We just hoped it would be friendly. The first human warship, the UES Valkyrie, engaged the Krell destroyer Bloodfang at point-blank range. The Krell expected a brief skirmish before their superior firepower crushed the primitive human vessel. Instead, they watched in horror as the Valkyrie deployed weapons that operated on principles the Krell had never encountered. Gravity cannons that created localized black holes, quantum torpedo warheads that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, and kinetic barriers that redirected energy attacks back at their sources. The Blood Fang was torn apart in seconds. Impossible. Caxthor roared. Our intelligence was perfect. They were barely space-capable. Your intelligence was based on what we allowed you to see, General Hawkins replied calmly. Humans have a saying, speak softly and carry a big stick. We've been carrying very big sticks for quite some time. More human ships emerged from concealed positions throughout the solar system, hidden bases on asteroids, camouflage stations in the outer planet's rings, and vessels that had been masquerading as space debris. Earth's entire solar system had been turned into a massive defensive network. But the true shock came when Caxthor realized the humans weren't just defending, they were hunting. War leader, Vexcar reported, his voice trembling, the humans have launched FTL-capable pursuit vessels. They're tracking our scout ships back to their origin points. The tactical display showed human ships disappearing into hyperspace, following the quantum signatures of every Krell vessel that had visited Earth's system in the past year. In less than an hour, the humans had gone from defending their homeworld to launching reconnaissance missions into Krell space. Sir, came a transmission from Captain Mordak aboard the scout ship Swift Hunter. The humans have found our forward base at Rigel 7. They're negotiating with our GVAC slave workers. The slaves are joining them. Caxthor felt his compound stomach drop. The humans weren't just militarily capable, they were ideologically dangerous. Wherever they went, they seemed to inspire rebellion among the Krell's subjugated species. General Hawkins appeared on screen again, but this time she wasn't alone. Representatives from a dozen different alien species stood beside her, all former Krell slaves, who had been liberated in the past 6 hours. War leader Caxthor, she said, reading from a datapad, we've been having very interesting conversations with your former subjects. It seems the galaxy has been waiting for someone capable of standing up to the Krell hegemony. Congratulations, you've just provided us with detailed intelligence on every world you've enslaved, every military base you operate, and every weakness in your command structure. The realization hit Caxthor like a plasma bolt to the thorax. The humans hadn't just defended Earth, they'd turned his invasion into a recruitment opportunity. Every freed slave became an ally, every captured base became a staging ground, and every piece of Krell military technology became a template for human improvements. We're prepared to offer terms, General Hawkins continued. Immediate cessation of all slave-taking activities, reparations to your victims, and submission to a galactic tribunal for war crimes. In exchange, we won't turn your entire empire into the liberation campaign it's about to become. Caxthor looked at his tactical display, where red markers indicated human ships had already appeared in 7 different Krell systems simultaneously. Somehow, in less than 12 hours, Earth had gone from an isolated primitive world to the center of a galaxy-spanning revolution. How? He whispered. How did you mobilize so quickly? General Hawkins's smile was no longer predatory. It was almost pitying. War leader, humans have been preparing for war since we learned to sharpen sticks. We fought each other for millennia, survived extinction events, and built our entire civilization around the assumption that eventually someone would try to destroy us. You didn't attack a primitive world, you attacked a species that turned paranoia into an art form. The surrender transmission from the Crimson Devastator was sent 23 minutes later, making it the shortest-lived alien invasion in galactic history. As Caxthor was led away in human-designed restraints that were somehow more effective than anything in the Krell arsenal, He couldn't help but wonder why his intelligence services had never thought to ask the most important question about any species they planned to conquer. What did they do to each other when they were bored? In humanity's case, the answer was simple. They got very, very good at warfare, then spent centuries pretending they weren't. The Krell hegemony learned this lesson exactly once. They never needed to learn it again.